Welcome to Ignite Fitness Coaches Corner, the podcast where we educate, elevate, and empower both coaches and clients to thrive in training, nutrition, and mindset. I'm Coach Joe here with Coach Christian and Coach Alex, and today we're diving deep into a powerhouse topic, micronutrients and their impact on performance.
Everyone talks about macros, how many grams of protein to hit, how to track carbs, but most people forget without the right micronutrients, your body literally cannot function, let alone perform.
Roger that. It's Coach Alex here, and that's right. Micronutrients are the unsung heroes of metabolism, recovery, hydration, hormone health, immune function, and even mental sharpness. If you're training hard but feel stuck, this is the episode that you need to hear, guys. All right. Let's talk about with Joe here. What are micronutrients?
Well, let's define the landscape. What are micronutrients and how are they different from the big three, like protein, carbs, and fats?
Roger that, right? So like micronutrients are vitamins and minerals, basically, guys, like required for smaller amounts than macros, right? But their importance is massive. Think of them as molecules that run your cellular machinery. Without them, micronutrients can't even be utilized effectively, you know?
Exactly. You can eat 200 grams of protein a day, but if you're deficient in B vitamins, magnesium, or zinc, your recovery, hormonal imbalance, and energy production will suffer.
Yeah, man, for sure. I felt that myself, dude. Like you can tell when your vitamins are off. I personally can. I guess I'm a little more in tune with my body these days. One of the foundational papers on this topic is from Dr. Volp, Clinics in Sports Medicine. This was back in 2007, so it's been a little bit, but which it highlights how athletes with higher metabolic demands increase their micronutrient requirements. So meaning like you're burning more, you're going to need to intake more, not just macros, but micronutrients as well. And that common deficiencies, especially like iron, calcium, and B vitamins, can significantly impair their training outcomes, right? So everyone's all about protein and, creatine and all these other stuff that we take. I guess creatine might be a micronutrient as well. But all these other macros that everybody's about, but like the micros are just as important. I think we're kind of banging that out. So let's talk about actually micronutrients and athletic performance.
All right, so let's break it down by category. How do specific micronutrients impact different aspects of performance?
Okay. Yeah, like energy metabolism, right? B vitamin complex. You guys know that B1 through 12. They play vital roles in converting food into ATP. ATP being that energy source that we use for our muscles, right? So, for example, B1 thiamine is essential for pyruvate metabolism. I can't ever say that word. Pyruvate metabolism, right? So B6 helps form neurotransmitters and red blood cells, and B12 supports the nervous system and oxygen transport. Our scholarly review on that came from a 2015 study in the International Journal of Sports Nutrition and Exercise Metabolism, found that endurance athletes with marginal B12 levels reported lower time to exhaustion and poor neuromuscular control compared to athletes with adequate levels. So B12 has a great effect on your performance as an athlete. I guess we can get into hydration, muscle function, as well as electrolytes. What do you got for us, Christian?
Minerals like magnesium, sodium, potassium, and calcium regulate muscle contractions, nerve signals, and fluid balance. Low magnesium, expect cramps. Low potassium, fatigue and irregular heartbeat. Low sodium during training, dizziness, and poor performance. Yeah, there's nothing worse than getting a cramp when you're lifting weights.
Yeah. Or if you're in the swimming pool, dude, you got to watch out,
Yeah.
But seriously, though, like that's one of the big like crazes out there, or craze, like I don't know what you call it, but like like electrolytes, like there's so much more. Like before, it was like when we were kids, it was like Gatorade was it, like you get like Gatorade and electrolytes, and then come to find out that it's just packed full of sugar and it's really not that great for you, unless you like truly are just like exhausted in your performance. But that's a big thing out there right now is all the different like salt packets. If you guys, and I take those in the morning, it's not bad to rehydrate yourself, with that salt and magnesium, sodium, potassium, everything that's in there. An old school bodybuilding hack was like a little bit of baking soda, dude.
No.
Put a little baking soda in your water, and like you'll feel the pump on that pretty big time.
Man,
So,
my first bodybuilding show, I cramped up so hard in the middle of my pose routine. And it was. I would have rather have gotten shot in the leg than that had to happen. And I remember going backstage, and one of the other bodybuilders back there just handed me a packet of salt and was like, "Dude, just eat this." I was like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Trust me." I ate that, and like, oh man, it was like, I swear he gave me the cure cancer right there. Like that was that was it, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's the way it goes, man. Your body's lacking that stuff. Like you need it. Like as soon as you get it into your system, boom, you're good to go. You know. So I love that. That's super cool. Yeah, and it's big out there right now, and people are price gouging the shit out of it. You know, so be careful with what you're looking at. You know, for as far as that. But I think electrolytes are key, and like especially first thing you wake up in the morning, have yourself like a little electrolyte drink. Rehydrate yourself after your long night's sleep or your short night's sleep, whatever it may be. Pretty important, right? So let's talk about like oxygen transport and endurance. What do you got for us, Joe, on that? Like, I guess we could talk about like, oh shoot, like, yeah, what's oxygen transport endurance? How do we get that?
So let's talk iron here, especially for our female athletes and plant-based clients.
Yeah. What is iron, Joe? You can keep going there if you want to.
So iron forms the core of hemoglobin. I don't know if I'm saying that right or not. And myoglobin. So the key for oxygen transport. Iron deficiency leads to decreased VO2 max, increased heart rate at lower intensities, and perceived effort going through the roof.
Right. That's what like people like low iron become anemic, right? So like it has a big deal like with your oxygen transport through your blood system, right? So yeah, you get anemia if you don't have enough iron. You can get that through like not just like micronutrients, like I mean you get those micronutrients, especially iron through like protein, like meat, like just for instance steak, right? So beef. Yep. Yeah, so like in 2019, review in Sports Medicine confirmed that subclinical iron deficiency, iron depletion without anemia, so like they weren't completely anemic, but they were definitely iron depleted, can reduce endurance by up to 20%. Even basic labs look normal. So that's wild, man. That's a big reduction in your endurance if you are iron depleted. So pretty important, man. Think about eating those steaks. How about immunity and recovery? What do you got for us, Christian, on that?
Let's not forget zinc, vitamin C, and antioxidants. If clients are always sick, sore, or inflamed, it's a red flag. Yeah, with zinc, it's very important for wound healing and actually your blood clotting after you've been injured.
Yeah, 100%, dude. I think I can remember. You should jump back to this, but like when COVID was going on, dude. Like I was pretty stubborn, one of those stubborn guys out there doing the damn thing, and I had to keep working at that time. My job I was doing, I was a commercial diver, so I was like, we were always working, and I think I was popping airbornes like there were no other, So like those little things like vitamin C, zinc, little antioxidants, like I would have like one a day. Dude, be like, I ain't getting sick, I'm good, But yeah, it's important. It's important to take that in moderation, guys. Like I remember, like I started taking its toll on my body because I had way too much vitamin C, like all the time. But definitely does help out for your immune system, right? It's funny. Well, it reminded me of that crazy story. I was taking airborne like every day for a month straight. That was funny. Oh man, keep that immune system strong, boys. Zinc is needed for tissue repair and immune defense. Vitamin C is an antioxidant and collagen builder. Together, they reduce oxidative stress and post training, right? So, scholarly review on that one, guys, would be a 2021 study in Frontiers in Nutrition, so relatively recent, showed the athletes supplementing zinc and vitamin C had a 37% reduction in upper respiratory illness during peak training periods compared to a placebo. So, wow, that's pretty awesome, man. It really does help boost the immune system there. So what are we moving on to, Joe? What do we got?
So next, we're going to talk about the most common micronutrient deficiencies. So what are the most common deficiencies here in clients, and how do they show up? So the top 5 deficiencies that we're seeing. So number 1, vitamin D. Symptoms are fatigue, low mood, weak bones, low testosterone. Risk, you got indoor training, dark skin, and winter months. So number 2 is magnesium. Symptoms for that is poor sleep, muscle cramps, anxiety. The ones that run risk are the ones that high sweat rate, processed foods, and have stress.
Yeah.
Number 3, we got iron. Symptoms is breathlessness, weakness, pale skin, risk for women, runners, and vegans.
Yeah.
Then we have zinc, number 4. Symptoms are slow healing, poor immunity, low sorry, can't speak right now. Low. Thank
Get
you.
that libido going. Joe, we know your libido is good over there, man. You got a 1-month-old baby, you know?
Yeah, I know, right? Risk those sweat loss and low protein diets. And then number 5, we got the B12. Symptoms are tingling, brain fog, sorry, poor concentration or coordination. Wow. I might be low on B12 right now.
Yeah.
Risk are vegans, older adults, and gut issues.
Yeah, dude, that B12 is no joke, man. I'm to attest to that. Many of these deficiencies are subclinical, meaning that the person isn't sick, but they're not just thriving either, right? Coaches can catch these trends by asking the right questions. What are we moving on to, Christian? What do we got next?
Next, we're going to talk about food and supplementation. Let's talk real strategy. How do we coach clients to improve their intake?
So start with food here. Use this rule. If it didn't grow or come from the ground or an animal, question it. So the type micronutrient-rich foods, for magnesium, you get spinach, almonds, dark chocolate, and pumpkin seeds. Iron, you got red meat, lettuce, and shellfish. And vitamin D, salmon, egg yolk, and fortified foods. Zinc, you got oysters, beef, pumpkin seeds. And B12, you got your liver, fish, dairy, and eggs.
Yeah, man. I love that, dude. If it didn't grow or come from the ground or an animal, question it. I really like that, man. Let's talk about whole foods, micronutrient foods. And like if food isn't cutting it, there's always like, or if there is an actual clinical deficiency, right? Like you've got your doctor say, hey, man, you're clinically deficient in this micronutrient, this nutrients. Supplements can really bridge the gap, but only use if third party tested products and avoid like mega dosing, like in the marketing traps, right? You don't need to have 2 million percentage of your daily value. You know what I mean? Like there's some crazy numbers out there sometimes. It's just, you don't need it, guys. So just make sure it's third party tested and like avoid the mega dosing. You don't need that. Best practices is test before you guess, get labs if possible. Use NSF, Informed Sport or USP verified brands. Educate clients on interactions like calcium blocks, iron, vitamin C enhances iron, things like that. And avoid multivitamins with poor bioviability, right? So it's cool to take multivitamins. They are effective, but if they have poor bioviability, you're not going to be able to absorb them, right? And it's a lot of times like you don't know exactly, like they kind of guesstimate what's in that multivitamin the way they create them, right? So you might be getting a higher dose of one thing than they really think that's on the label, or a lower dose of one thing. So just like if you're going to do multivitamins, don't go cheap. Get the good ones that are have high bioavailability. We're jumping to the next one. So coaching, integration, and lab testing, right? So let's talk about this, Christian. What do you got?
This is where it gets real. How do we integrate micronutrients into coaching? Here are some coach to client practices. Weekly food logs with a color tracker. Ask about sleep, energy, illness, and soreness. Share cheat sheets, top 10 micronutrient rich foods, and offer referral paths to get labs down: vitamin D, ferritin, B12, CRP, and homocysteine.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, no, that's those some of those things. I honestly don't know what homocysteine is, but like when you go to the doctor, you get those labs drawn. They'll figure all that out and they'll take care of you guys. You know, so never be afraid to say this might be outside of our scope, but there's someone I trust, right? So like partner with a nutritionist, an RD, or functional doc. You guys partnering up. If you're a coach out there listening to this, if you're partner up with like a nutritionist, dude, an RD, physical therapist, a functional doctor, you're going to get clients. Like you're going to feed each other back and forth, right? And it's just a great relationship to have. It's a great way to build your clientele. So definitely stay within your own scope, but definitely recommend out. What do we got for a Q&A? Let's jump into like our community and see what we got for a Q&A. So what's up? Question number 1, Joe.
All right, so question number 1 for Q&A. So my female client trains 5 times a week and eats well, but is exhausted by Wednesday. What should I look for?
I think that we start by checking iron and vitamin D, right? So female clients, not to be rude or anything, but you have that time of the month, right? That menstrual cycle. where they can lose a lot of blood, right? And that really affects their iron. So start by checking iron and vitamin D and ask about sleep and menstruation, right? Recommend lab work and ferritin, B12, vitamin D, 25, OH, right? But again, stay within your scope, guys. Talk about what has worked for you or what might be the cause, but really they need to figure this out themselves. You don't want to overstep being, if you're not licensed to do that or a licensed nutrition or doctor, then you definitely don't want to overstep. So always recommend lab work, but you can always say, hey, you might want to start checking with your iron and vitamin D. When they go get their lab work done and it's showing that they're deficient in iron and vitamin D, you're going to look like a rock star, right? So like know your shit, be on top of it.
Yeah, honestly, one of the things that I always do for both male and female clients is because I've came across it so many times, and the first after I got some experience under me, the first question I would always ask is like, "Hey, do you take a multivitamin?" And 9 times out of 10, actually, I can't remember a single time someone told me yes. Every time they were like, "No, I don't take a vitamin." It's like, all right, hey, let's just try to. And I always like, hey, just take something simple, like go to the grocery store, get the one a day, and let's try that out and for a few weeks and see how that goes. And that typically has cleared up a lot of those questions right there that they have for me.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Yeah, it happens. We see that all the time, actually, as traders. Like people are just they're expending a lot of energy, and then with that energy that they're expending when they start working out, like they're losing micronutrients through their sweat and other sources, right? So like it's just something that you guys gotta we gotta look at as trainers as well as clients. Hey, like we're putting our body through changes, so we need to feed it and give it the proper nutrients it needs, right, to excel. What do we got here? What's question number 2 we got, Christian?
Question number 2, are greens powders worth it? If your client doesn't eat 6+ servings of plants per day, a quality green supplement can help but never replace food. Yeah, I think Joe Rogan does an ad for something called AG1. I'm sure it's great, but definitely your actual diet is where you want most of your focus at.
Yeah, 100%. What do you guys say, Joe?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Like, you're always gonna. My clients I've had in the past, they see me, they know I compete in bodybuilding, so they always ask, "Oh, what kind of supplement should I get?" I'm like, "Let's work on eating whole foods first, and then we'll see what you're deficient in before we even talk about supplements." Because everyone wants to know what kind of protein powder I take and what creatine do I get. And I'm like, bro, I eat like 7 to 8 meals a day. Like, I ain't got time to be taking protein powder, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Everyone wants the quick fix. It's just the society that we live in, and supplements is that go to, right? And it's like it has its time and its place and its purpose, but like Joe's saying, it's just like, dude, like let's start with like your diet and like eating whole foods and like getting that on point before you like really worry about all the extras, Yeah, for sure. Okay, I'll wrap this up with questions 3 and 4 here. Or no, let's do Joe. Let's have you do question 3. This is a pretty good one, right?
So how do I explain micronutrients without overwhelming a client? So use visuals, all right? So your body is like a car. Macros are the gas, micros are the spark plugs, oil, and coolant. No micros, the car overheats and dies. So that's actually something I use a lot. Actually using the car analogy, I've used that with my clients a lot. And that kind of seems to, even the ones that aren't gearheads or anything like that, everyone understands that you need gas and you need oil. Sometimes, depending on who you're talking to, you start talking about, other things that go into a car. They're like, huh? I'm like, all right, so, oil, right? That's the blood of the car. And then you got gas. That's the energy for the car. So everyone kind of gets those two things right
Yeah.
there.
Those are perfect. A perfect reference there. The car is just on point, right? Love it. So let's go to question 4. Is there a specific blood test panel you can recommend for performance clients? Yes, vitamin D, ferritin, iron panel, B12, RBC, magnesium, CRP for inflammation, and possibly a Dutch or GI map, right? To test if symptoms persist. So yeah, I mean, take that down, guys. If you guys are out there, there are different types of blood panels that you could suggest. And again, if you suggest they take this blood panel, they find some deficiencies, you're going to look like an all-star for your client, and they definitely get a lot of recommendations, things like that. So knowledge is power. The more you know, the more you don't know, right? So just keep learning every day and keep growing and be on your stuff. Yeah, so let's wrap it up. That was a good little episode. I think we kind of nailed it on the head when it came to micronutrients and the importance of it. What do we got for our closing statements here, Joe?
So micronutrients, they may not be sexy, but they're the missing link for so many athletes and clients hitting plateaus.
Whether it's fatigue, poor recovery, or brain fog, look under the hood. Optimize micronutrients and you'll unlock the next level of performance. Yeah, if you feel good, you're going to be more likely to go to the gym and train consistently.
Yeah, 100%, Christian. Yeah, guys, train smart, fuel smarter, and coach with a deeper understanding of what truly drives long-term results, right? That we're trying to get those long-term results. We're not here for the quick fixes. We're here for lifestyle, quality, and longevity, right? So, cool.
Yep. Well, thanks for tuning in to Ignite Fitness Coaches Corner, everyone. If you found value in this episode, drop us a comment in school, share it with your team, and let us know what you want us to dive into next.
Appreciate it, guys. We'll catch you all next time.